Hello, everybody. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I'm Andy Signor, and interesting news that's dropping. Again, who knows how real this will be? We've been talking about this potential movie for a long time, but Lethal Weapon 5 is back in the news. Now, look, before anybody gets excited or frustrated, this is just talk. There's a producer of the film who did a roundtable. We're going to watch the clip, break it down to see how realistic this actually is. But look, with the success of Bad Boys for Life, obviously every studio in town's looking back at their old action franchises to see, all right, who can we dust up and attempt to mimic this success? That's how Hollywood works. When a success happens, you're going to see 4 more come out that seem like, duh. Now, is Lethal Weapon 5 a good idea? Is this going to even happen? Let's break it all down. Where did Lethal Weapon end? Let's revisit the Lethal Weapon films. I love part 1. I love part 2. Part 2 and that toilet bomb is pretty great. Part 3 is still entertaining. I like that they brought back Joe Pesci. Rene Russo is good in it. I thought it was fine. It started creating more. It felt like that's when it started becoming Fast and the Furious, if you want to really get a comparison. And then it took a long time for part 4 to come around, where they got everybody back again, and then brought in Chris Rock as Murtaugh's daughter's husband, Butters, and they're pregnant. They have a kid at the end of the movie, as does Riggs with Rene Russo's Lorna Cole. So both Chris Rock's, Murtaugh's son-in-law and daughter have a kid, and Riggs has a kid. So 1998 to 2020, that's 22 years. So the movie's not going to happen this year. 23, 24 years, you could add a couple. 25 years have now passed since they've had their children. Hello, why wouldn't Hollywood launch the next pairing of, let's watch old Danny Glover, old Mel Gibson come back. Now they have some younger kids that get in the mix that are trying to follow into their footsteps. It seems like it's sort of Bad Boys for Life in a way. Now, do we want that is the next question. Is it too much? Are they too old for this S? I didn't want to say it because they will bleep me otherwise. YouTube will limit it. But you know what I'm saying. This is at the point which we talked about last night on my stream with Jody's Corner. You guys should watch Change My Mind, the Transformers episode. I'll put a little iCard. Check the little I. We addressed this a little bit. We got into it, and it made me want to do another conversation here with you today. We also talked about my controversial video from a couple days ago. So I'm updating you if you haven't caught up. Check that one out. There's some interesting conversations. But keeping it to Lethal Weapon 5. I didn't hate part 4. It wasn't the best Lethal Weapon by any means. It still was nice to see the gang back. And I think they're interesting, fun characters. I love Joe Pesci as Leo Getz. And Jet Li was a cool villain. It was a fine movie. It wasn't its high point, but it wasn't one that I'm like, I don't need to see any more again. I could see them coming back now at an age where they actually finally are too old for this. Now, as we said last time in the stream, Joni was right. Danny Glover was pushing it in part 4, and he's really pushing it now. No disrespect, but for an action movie, it's not like Martin Lawrence and Will Smith who are like Danny Glover is traditionally up there, and even Mel Gibson's getting up there. These two guys are at an age now that it would be odd to see them jumping around doing big explosions. But that's apparently not what the film was going to be about. Last sort of we heard about this was in February 2nd, where Richard Donner himself said it was just probably not going to happen. And here was the quote in place. He was on the he did an interview on Nerdist and then Malton Movies, and proved how this was why it's becoming so difficult. So he said, I'm ready to do 5. It's called Lethal Finale. Don't love the title. It's very dark, and we were all set to go, and now Warner Brothers is doing their old-fashioned tricks. Not Warner Brothers. There's this guy who runs the studio who's great, but they have these people in the legal department who do negotiating in the most counterproductive way. They should be sent to a studio and work for the producers and directors and actors and learn what makes a film and then negotiate. But it's just embarrassing. So he's going on and saying that it's just not going to happen. And it's too bad because there's a wonderful writer named Shannon Gibson who wrote 4 for me, and we have a really great story. It is dark, but I wanted to end it on an emotional note, and I don't think it's going to happen. So that was 2018. We've been talking about Lethal Weapon 5 for a long time. Mel Gibson's had troubles, which obviously didn't help. This has gone back in studio turmoil for a long time, and now he's just called out Warner Brothers and said their legal won't get the contracts made. There's a script, everyone's on board. And now, in a producer's roundtable from Hollywood Reporter, we heard from producer David Lin, who then teased this, and let's hear his thoughts.
The stars will align.
So Rebecca, I'm going to knock on wood so I don't jinx myself, but we're trying to make the last Lethal Weapon movie.
and Dick Donner is coming back. The original cast is coming back.
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it's just amazing. The story itself is very personal to him.
Wow.
Mel and Danny are ready to go, so it's about
That's
the
amazing.
script.
Oh my God, amazing.
David, you got one in your pocket?
So there you go. So he's talking. He's got Charlize Theron, all these people sort of saying amazing to the fact that this could actually happen. So interesting again, but he's clearly putting it out there. That's what a good producer does, is gets the word out on a project to see if there's interest. And if the interest online, per this video and other people, start reacting like, yeah, you know what, I would like a Lethal Weapon 5. The studio is going to probably fast track some of those contracts. This is sort of what you do. It's Deadpool and leaking footage, etc. So the question just comes, do we want another Lethal Weapon? I do. I don't mind seeing another Lethal Weapon. Look, it's already a franchise. I liked Riggs and Murtaugh. I liked Mel Gibson as an actor. I liked him as a director too. I like Michael Jackson as a musician. Well, that's even more complicated. Mel Gibson did some stupid stuff. He said some awful things, but it really does seem like he's come back. So beyond that, if we can separate the artist from the man and feel like he has an opportunity now to get back to work, which he's been doing. He's been in movies. He's directed. I would like to see Lethal Weapon again. I think it'd be cool to give them one last hurrah and actually finally see them really be too old for it. But I think you got to sort of have the new blood there. And he's his son or daughter. I forget. Was it a girl? His son-in-law. I'm trying to remember their son. Yeah, no, they have a son. And Murtaugh's Butters has a daughter. So yeah, maybe the daughter is the lead, right? And then the son isn't in the police force, does something else. Does that make them excited or not? It doesn't matter. There's still enough there to justify the next generation per the timeline. It's been enough time for that person to have grown up and potentially be an upcoming person who could lead a next Lethal Weapon. There's enough there that I would be intrigued. Is it going to be good? That's there's a lot on there, but I do like the idea of Joel Silver saying it's dark. It's more emotional because go back to the original Lethal Weapon. It's dark. His wife's dead. He's an alcoholic. It got sillier as the franchise went. It became Fast and the Furious. But there always were still moments of seriousness in the franchise, and that's what I think was best. So if they actually could come around and still make a little lighthearted and fun, cool action sequences, but then really give you some more emotional heft about age, similar to Bad Boys, but even older, and all that stuff, I could be down for it. It could be good, right? It could be. It could be. So sign me up. I would see this movie. I'm intrigued. I want to know more. I liked watching these movies when they're on cable. I always get sucked in and just watch them. Even the sequels, they're underrated. People don't talk about them as much anymore, but they're not underrated. Lethal Weapon, especially the first two, are classics in the action and especially the buddy cop genre. But what do you guys think? I want to hear your thoughts. Hit me up on social media or down in the comments below. Is Lethal Weapon 5 a good idea? Are you with me? Should we be helping David Lin get the word out and supporting it on social and saying, yeah, Lethal Weapon 5? Or are you going to go say, no, screw Mel Gibson, screw Lethal Weapon 5, it's old, who cares anymore? Now's your opportunity to be vocal, everybody on the internet. Thanks so much for watching. Again, watch last night's stream if you can. A lot of interesting conversations there. And thanks for watching, everybody. Hit that subscribe button and the like and the comment, the engagement. I appreciate it. I'll be live on Jody's Corners channel tonight over on for Yin and Yang, so stay tuned for there as well. And that's it. Bye-bye.